I had something else to say about that Rowley interview on the Nine Club. I actually went to the whole trouble to make a video on it, which ended up being split into two because I've had quite a bit to say about it, whether or not I'm talking rubbish or not. Is that the thing is, Rowley said that he's sort of not into the whole Olympics thing and it's not his vibe at all. But yet, the thing is that he signed up for he is a character on the Tony Hawk's game, so he's been made into a computer game. And the thing with that game is that the whole vibe and feel of it and style of it is like big and open, like, you know, racing across from one side to another and doing a massive trick here and there, which is kind of really like what the Olympics is at the stadium. It's almost like that, as opposed to just, you're constantly moving anyway. In the game, you're like constantly moving. You don't just like, you know, sit down and, you know, have a cigarette or a can of pop or whatever and watch some people like skating a little bank. It's like constantly on the move around. And that's the difference between hanging out at spots and being at the Olympics, you know. Although I'm not saying that people don't hang out at the Olympics in between their run, but it's kind of like, you know, it's not knocking around at street spots, socialising as well. It's kind of like this just full-on, constantly moving thing. And, you know, so I'm quite surprised with Rowley's view on that. And then the other thing is this. They're saying that, I don't know whether they were joking or whether they really meant it when they're saying skateboarding is in a bit of a low, or I don't know where that came from, why they would say that when there's all these TV programs and chat shows, you know, they've got the Roller Snakes one and so forth. I think that it's got so big and so huge, and they're shifting so many boards and clothing and products and the whole scene of it and the idea of it, the actual computer games and the clothing and just the idea of it, the posters and everything, the YouTube videos and clips are actually more reproduced and sold and made and put out there more than actually the amount of people who are doing it. So what it's done is, I think that it's actually made a big kind of gaping chasm, because, you know, the companies are doing well, the businesses doing definitely well, but there's no skateboarders to fill it in with. And if there was, then everyone would pretty much be a skateboarder nearly, which would be a nightmare in town, you know. So this is one model of why, you know, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is saying, you know, the corporate thing's taken over. We need to go back to, like, people who own their own companies and so forth. This is like the thing with, like, you know, Volcom and a lot of these other companies. They've just done too well and got too big. And now they don't want to give up any of that profit or benefits or publicity. But they're so big that they're having to reach out to all other things. And then it just becomes that, you know, it's not actually about the skateboarding anymore. It's just about making jackets or selling products or even YouTube video, you know. There's these YouTube video clips popping up of some rad people, just, you know, you don't know who they are, you know, who was that masked man? You know, they just come out of nowhere, do one or two mind-blowing things that just seem literally insane, and then, you know, the clip disappears, you know, this is the thing. People watch it, more people watch it than what people skateboard, you know. It's kind of, unfortunately, it's gone bigger than skateboarding, and then skateboarding has, I think, you know, it looks like that there's something missing, because it's kind of almost like standing in the middle of a huge, massive, I mean, how big do you want the Olympic Stadium to be? You know, a crater on the moon, you know, the products and the industry around it. You know, Tony Hawk's made these, you know, I've built skate parks everywhere, but, you know, are they all being skated and used? You know, this is the thing. It's bigger than reality. It's bigger than the actual thing. So I actually think that, you know, this is when human beings start to need to think, you know, when is enough? When is enough? Or when do you need to stop? Or, you know, at what point will the actual skateboarding itself not even be what it's about?